Jeff and Amber for Small Business Friday for part of our design and development. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about something that Jeff is very passionate about.
Outsourcing. Big exciting stuff happening on Facebook that I didn't know. So today we're going to be talking about outsourcing. As a small business, you can't do everything. That's I think one of the biggest takeaways and really one of the earliest lessons I learned as a business owner about 100 years ago is that you learn very quickly what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so all of the things that you're really, really good at, my wife likes to say, everyone is promoted to their level of incompetence. And and I think what she means, I know what she means by that is that at some point you're so good at what you do that you get taken out of what you do and put into something else.
Right.
You go from being really proficient at your trade to becoming a manager or an accountant or a project planner, all these things that you don't have experience doing. So obviously outsource is the solution to that. When you start a small business, finding somebody that can support your expertise is really, really great. For example, I have Amber, who is...
It's not outsourced per se.
Insourced.
Yeah, but I do certain things that Jeff doesn't do, and Jeff does things that I don't do. But I think the other thing is it's a time issue. I mean, you could learn to do everything that there is to do for your small business, but is that really going to be the best use of your time? And by doing that, by spreading yourself that thin, are you really going to make the impact in the field that you want to make the way that you want to make it? And the answer is generally no, you're not.
That's exactly right. There's no way that a person can manage the finances and manage the technical aspects or the products or the services of the business and still do all the things that need to be done. You either have to hire or you have to pay somebody else to do it. So on outsourcing, and I guess I should have said this earlier, on outsourcing, one of the biggest things to remember is that we're not talking about sending things to a different country. I know that folks are really concerned about that. What we're talking about is just finding somebody outside of your company that does it. Mm-hmm. A great example is IT repair. Almost no companies that aren't in computer repair do computer repair in-house. Somebody pays them for that.
Yeah. One
of the most common is accounting. Usually the very first thing that business owners learn is that accounting is a whole different ball of wax. And so you pay someone to do your accounting. Second side of that would be like managing your finances, and I always recommend kind of getting somebody involved for that as well that has some experience at it. That's one of the reasons that we do things like that, because an accountant or a CPA is going to help with your annual finances. They're going to help with your recording of receipts, but being able to grow your business is not their specialty. So that's one of the things that I'm thrilled to be able to help with.
Right.
But you can literally outsource everything. I've definitely known companies that existed only as a organizer. Most general contractors are the same way. If you're a general contractor, you may be responsible for building the house, but the odds that you're doing carpentry or the odds that you're doing tape and float or those sorts of things, I mean, you're probably paying somebody else to do that. And so as the general contractor, you become entirely an outsourcer. And that's really normal. So you can do that for your business too, I guess, is the pitch.
Yeah. I think it's important to pay attention to the areas that you can improve by bringing somebody else in to do that job. Yeah,
I think you're absolutely right. So one of my favorite hacks, I say hacks, there's always like hacks. The things you do to make your universe a little easier that are unexpected is a payroll hack. So through my experience, I've found that here's something you may not know as a business owner, something you may learn really quickly if you've just started your business, is that you don't just pay somebody $12 an hour or $15 an hour or $9 an hour, whatever your pay rate is. You pay them that plus Social Security plus workman's comp. FICA has to be collected, and the business owner is responsible for all of that stuff stuff.
Making sure the money all goes where it needs to go, even if it's something that's getting taken out of that person's check, it still has to go places, and you as the business owner have to do it.
That's right. And Social Security is only paid half by the government.
Right.
So the business owner pays half of that, and the sorts of things like that. Mm-hmm. And then the stuff you never see, like legally mandated workman's comp insurance, costs money. Mm-hmm. So all told, it comes up to about 30 to 35% of the pay rate. And
so what's the easiest way to handle that as a business owner?
That's a great question. I mean, there's a couple different ways you can handle it. One really common way is going through companies like ADP, where they're still your employee and ADP manages the payroll for you. But my favorite hack is to negotiate. So if you have a local temp service, well, here's the steps because it works. Find a local temp service or somebody that you can build a personal relationship with so that you can have a real conversation with that person,
right,
and they're not tied in by national level mandates.
Right.
They're going to say about 50 to 54% above pay rate. Well, that's a lot. It's a lot more than if you had to do it yourself. But remember that added pay rate also takes care of all of the money that you have to track and the finances you have to send to the government and the reporting that you have to do. A lot of that's absorbed. But if you use a local one, you can almost always negotiate.
Right.
Because if you do the hiring and you do the interviewing and you do the recruiting, which is what you're going to want to do as a small business owner anyway, if you are selecting your people, it takes a lot of the load off of the local payroll companies, which means you can come to them and say, we'll do the heavy lifting, we just need you to carry the processing, which they're well equipped to do. We need you to take care of the liability, which they're already doing. And then they'll negotiate, and you can usually get under 40%, which is, for 4% of a $10 employee, trust me, it's absolutely worth it to take that entire headache off. And I've been on both sides of that. I've been both an employee of ADP, and I've both employed through temp service or local service many times. And you can really reduce your cost, reduce your headache, and improve your bottom line by letting somebody else do the heavy lifting on the payroll.
Right, and that builds both businesses too, because you're using that local temp business, and it's just a bit of an ebb and flow. So what's another thing that you feel like it is really important for small businesses to recognize that they could outsource?
Well, do what you're good at. Right? I mean, we talk about that all the time. Like, obviously, you want to learn new skills. You're constantly growing. You're getting better. But do what you're good at is really important, which means that you're probably not the best at things like, for example, marketing. I'm not trying to make a hard pitch, but we look at things differently. Like, Amber, when you look at social media, the things that you look at and focus on are obviously very different from the things that a person who's well-versed in something else would be doing.
Correct. I think so too. I think that it's really important to, one of the things that I think that is easy to do is to say, oh, this is a thing that my business needs, marketing. Let me learn about it. Let me learn what it would take to do that. And then, okay, I know a little bit about it. Now I can work with somebody else who knows a little more about it and make that process even better. And so that's a little bit what we do is we can work with you to make your process even better, and we can manage that marketing for you. One of the things that I think is really important for anybody's marketing plan or anybody's social media plan is a content calendar. So you have to look at what you're going to post and when you're going to post it and what the desired effect that's going to have. So every time you're throwing something, you see something cute on the internet, you're like, oh, I want to share that. Well, that's great for a personal page, but that doesn't necessarily move your business forward, even if it's something that goes along with your business theme. There has to be a purpose behind whatever it is that you're posting. And I don't think a lot of people think that way.
I think, I think you just really hit the nail on the head with any outsource. With marketing, for example, we start with the perspective of the customer, the potential customer, and move toward the business. And when you're an expert in something, it's hard to sort of see what that other person is doing,
what they want to look at. Yeah.
And so that's a great point with any outsource, is that somebody's going to be really, really good at what they do, so good that they started a business at it, and give you their expertise, but at a price that is going to be a very small portion of what they're paying in overhead, or what you would pay to have that person in-house, or even worse, what you would have to do to learn, their 20 years worth of experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think as a small business owner, it is really important to learn a little bit about everything. But just because you learn about it doesn't mean that it has to be your responsibility in that business. It's perfectly acceptable and actually really great to partner with somebody else who's an expert in that field.
I think that you just, if I could express outsourcing in a sentence, that's it right there. Find a great partner that is really good at what they do, and then let them do it. And that cost really saves you so much in the long run. So some things to consider. So that's your tip for Friday. Thanks so much for paying attention, and we're always here to help. Give us a call. Part of our design, there's a link there somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
And 361-494-0533. But also, give us your thoughts and feedback to us, because we're going to be talking about your business every single week. We're going to be bringing in some great folks. I think we've got somebody from the SBDC coming in next week and talking about how they help small businesses. So we're really looking forward to helping your business grow. That's the whole reason we're here. So grab on and take hold of your business and get back to loving what you do. Next week, we're going to be talking about branding. Business branding, which is huge and a big part of what we do. So give us a call, shoot us a message, send us an email, whatever it takes. Let us know how we can help your business. And
that's pretty much it. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.